Hey, what is up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. We're going to start out today's video with a new UFO sighting that was captured on a night vision camera of 3 distinct objects moving in a perfect triangular formation, orbiting the planet it would seem. So watch this entire clip and we'll talk more in just a second. Alright, so this was captured out of Kentucky and was sent in to me by a viewer who said that he was watching the night sky with his night vision device when he noticed 2 bright objects moving slowly across the night sky. He then soon realized that there were 3 UFOs in this triangular formation, and after a couple of minutes, a 4th UFO also got close to the formation, and then they started to glow really bright. It was an amazing sight to see. And so this is an amazing sighting. So we see that these 3 objects, and I've watched this entire clip, these things stayed locked into their position. So that kind of ruled out the idea for me that these were satellites. And secondly, when they put satellites into orbit, they simply don't orbit them into formations like this. When these things all start glowing at the same time like they do towards the end of the video, that really perked my curiosity. If you watch closely, there's a couple of other UFOs that you can see moving in opposite directions during this clip. And so, I really think that these types of clips, especially infrared, night vision, things like that, are some of the most interesting UFO sightings and documented evidence that we've featured here on the channel. And these things have been captured all sizes, all shapes, some of them glowing, some of them making turns, some of them sitting high up out in space. Other times they've been captured sitting just a ways above a tree line. And what's really interesting is that most of these are captured in the ultraviolet and infrared spectrum, meaning that these UFOs, these objects, are not able to be seen with the naked eye. It is only once that you use one of these specialty devices that can actually detect things in this specific light and color spectrum, we start to realize just how many of these unknown objects are sitting above us in plain sight, and that you would only know were there if you had some of these night vision goggles or any kind of tech with the ability to see in the infrared and ultraviolet. And, I think this definitely links to all of the reports that we've been getting over the years of the strange sounds that people have been hearing right above them. And this has been a global event. A lot of times people will hear machine sounds, something like grinding metal, or really just some sort of massive object right above them moving over that they can't see, but that they can hear. And so the idea and the theories have been that a lot of these craft, especially the ones that are coming from off-planet, and likely the ones that belong to our military, because we do know that the military has developed technology and aircraft using reverse-engineered alien technology, either from the wreckage of something like the 1947 Roswell crash or by some other means. But one thing we do know is that these things are there. So, again, I want to give a shout out to the viewer out of Kentucky who sent this over. If you guys have your own devices that can detect these things out in space, do try to get some footage and send it in. So next, since we're talking about unidentified things out in space, a new International Space Station clip that was recently captured by our friend StreetCap1 is currently turning some heads of what's being described as a glowing, color-changing orb floating out in the distance of space behind the International Space Station. So this is a really interesting clip, and good work to StreetCap1. Be sure to check out his channel. I'll put the link down below. But from what I can see here, this is a very clean-cut clip, and one of the reasons I like this is because this specific clip was captured while the space station was out of view of the sun. And what's so good about that is that it eliminates the possibility that what we're seeing is nothing more than a lens flare. But here, we only have the ISS, which is artificially lit by the outside lighting on the craft, and then we have this peculiar, mysterious light, just eerily sitting in the distance, and seems to be moving ever so slightly, before finally the operator of the camera pans away so we can no longer see it, which usually is indicative of the fact that they've discovered that there's a UFO there and they quickly have to turn our attention away from it, usually doing this under the guise of either a signal loss or by simply panning the camera away. So, really cool footage. StreetCap1 has an eagle eye for these UFOs on the space station cameras, so be sure to check out his channel if you haven't yet. And before we go today, there's some really cool footage out right now of this, well, what's being called a unicorn rainbow that was captured by Ann Salicala above the city of Pagadian, which is in the Philippines. And so Ann, who is a nurse, recorded what she called the unicorn rainbow at around 3 p.m. this past Sunday, which only lasted momentarily before quickly disappearing. And of course she described it as being a magical kind of phenomenon, and that she'd never seen anything like it before. I've also got some other photographs from another viewer who was there that day and saw this thing, and it is really cool. Now, I don't think there's anything supernatural to it, but again, I like to show you guys strange things, and this is the strangest rainbow that I've probably ever seen. And it's thought that the rainbow formed from a combination of humidity, heat, and tiny droplets of water suspended around the cloud. So instead of getting the normal rainbow, you're getting this giant rainbow blob moving through the sky looking like something out of a sci-fi film. And it truly speaks to just how beautiful our planet is, and the kind of rare, natural, just awe-inspiring things that you can be lucky enough to see at least once in your life. And it truly is magical. So we've had some really interesting things to talk about today, some great new UFO footage, and I want more. So if you guys have any of your own, please send it in. My email is down in the video description. And once again, I just want to thank all of you for supporting this channel that has been growing over the years by what I can only say is sheer luck, because I certainly don't hold myself in high regard or that I'm some sort of great YouTuber. But, you know, I think people just love this topic. And if it's one thing that I've realized, it's how close-knit this community is, and all of our viewers here, especially on Secure Team, and all of the great fans, and all of you guys who I've had the chance to meet and hang out with in the comments on every video and talk to on Twitter. Those of you who have supported me, whether it be on Patreon, or grabbing a t-shirt or a hat, or something as small as just sharing the videos and telling your friends about this topic, and maybe telling them to check out some of my stuff. But all in all, just want to say thanks, so I won't take up any more of your time, guys. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you all back in just a bit.